All right, so we're diving into one of the most like mind-boggling stories in art history.
Mind-boggling.
Oh yeah, totally mind-boggling. I
Okay,
mean,
I'm intrigued.
we're talking about the theft of the Mona Lisa.
Ah, classic.
Right. But from what I've been reading, it's even crazier than I thought. We've got some sources here that are going to blow your mind.
Lay it on me.
So, okay, everyone knows this painting is valuable,
Yeah.
but like really
Oh,
valuable.
yeah. It's considered priceless.
Right, but experts actually put a number on it.
Yeah.
$830 million today.
Wow. I mean, that's just an estimate, right?
Yeah, an estimate.
Yeah.
But still, if it ever actually went up for sale, some billionaire would probably buy it before we even finish talking about it.
Oh, absolutely. It would disappear into a private collection in a heartbeat.
Gone. Just like that.
Poof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yet, somehow, the most secure museum in the world, the Louvre, managed to lose it.
You'd think they'd have, like, lasers and stuff.
Right. More than
Wow.
just like, don't let anyone walk out with it.
Apparently not.
So let's rewind back to 1911. Paris. The Louvre's full of people, tourists, art lovers, you name it. And then, poof, the Mona Lisa is gone.
Just like that.
Yeah, vanished. Only 4 empty nails left on the wall.
That's wild.
It is. But it gets even wilder when you meet the guy behind it all, Eduardo di Valfierno. This guy was like an art world con man. Charming, cunning, always dressed to impress. He loved the finer things in life, and he knew how to get them by selling forged paintings.
Forged paintings.
Yeah.
Fakes.
Interesting. So how did he do it?
Well, what's fascinating is he wasn't just churning out fakes. He had a system. He'd get his hands on an original masterpiece, swap it with a really good forgery, and then sell the stolen original for a fortune.
So he had an accomplice.
Yeah.
A forger.
Yes, a very talented one named Yves Chaudre. Apparently his work was so good it was almost impossible to tell the difference.
So some museum somewhere could have a fake hanging right now, and they don't even know it, right? It's crazy. But with the Mona Lisa, Eduardo had an even bigger plan. He didn't want to just swap it or hold it for ransom. He wanted to steal it, keep it hidden, and then make a bunch of copies and sell those while everyone thought the original was gone.
Hold on, so he wanted to sell 6 fake Mona Lisas.
6? Can you imagine the audacity?
That's incredible. And who was going to help him pull this off?
That's where Vincenzo Peruggi and the Lanciolotti brothers come in. Peruggi used to work at the Louvre.
An inside man.
Exactly. And the Lanciolottis knew the museum like the back of their hands. They were the ones who got the painting out.
So while everyone's freaking out about the missing Mona Lisa, this guy, Eduardo, is just waiting to unleash his forgeries.
Basically. And the craziest part is, he had a perfect alibi. He was very meticulous.
Of course, he wasn't going to risk getting caught for the biggest art heist in history.
Okay, but how did they actually do it? Like, did they rappel from the ceiling, Mission Impossible style?
No, nothing like that. They just took advantage of all the chaos. Yeah, they were doing some renovations at the Louvre at the time.
Ah, right. So they just walked in and took it.
Pretty much.
And no one noticed.
No one noticed until the next day. It's almost comical when you think about it. Most famous painting in the world, just gone.
I mean, that's insane.
Mm.
But once they realized, surely the police were all over it.
Oh, yeah. Full-blown investigation. They even suspected Pablo Picasso for a while.
Picasso.
Yeah, he'd been caught with stolen artifacts before.
Wow, can you imagine if he was the mastermind?
The headlines would have been incredible. But no, it wasn't him. They investigated for 2 years and found nothing.
So everyone just assumed the Mona Lisa was lost forever.
Pretty much. But as you know, that's not the end of the story.
Okay, so we've got Eduardo, our art world mastermind, living the good life, selling his fake Mona Lisas. But what about Perugia? What's he doing with the real one?
Well, I imagine he was starting to feel the heat. Hiding a priceless painting for 2 years, probably not a good feeling.
Yeah, I bet. Plus, Eduardo probably promised him a cut, right? Which he never got.
Most likely. So after 2 years, Perugia decides to cash in.
But how do you sell something that everyone thinks is gone? Wouldn't any buyer be like, super suspicious?
Right. But, well, Perugia got in touch with an Italian art dealer, Alfredo Geri. A pretty respected guy.
Okay.
And Geri, he knew he couldn't just take Perugia's word for it, so he called in an expert. Giovanni Poggi, the director of the Uffizi Gallery in Florence.
To authenticate it.
Exactly. And, well, Poggi confirmed it. The real Mona Lisa.
So hold on. This art thief contacts an art dealer. The art dealer calls in an expert. and no one thinks to call the police.
It does seem a bit strange now, doesn't it?
A bit.
But remember, this was 1913. Maybe there was this romantic idea, like the art was being returned to its home.
Ah, the patriotic thief.
Exactly. Perugia claimed he stole the Mona Lisa to bring her back to Italy.
But come on, was he really motivated by patriotism? Or was that just a good story?
Hard to say. He didn't try to sell it on the black market or anything. He wanted to bring it to Italy.
But maybe that was just a clever way to spin it, to make himself look like a hero.
It's possible.
The Robin Hood of the art world.
Yeah.
And did it work?
Oh, yeah. The Italian press loved him. They were calling him a national hero, a defender of Italy's artistic heritage. His trial was a huge media event.
Wait, he went to trial?
He did. But the public was on his side. The judge gave him a super lenient sentence, just 7 months in prison.
7 months for stealing the Mona Lisa.
That's all. Less time than some people get for parking tickets.
Unbelievable. So what happened to the painting? Did they just give it to Perugia as a reward?
Not quite. The Italian government saw a good PR opportunity. They took the Mona Lisa on a tour of the country, showed it off in all the big museums.
A victory lap?
Exactly. A celebration of their reclaimed treasure. I'm sure the French weren't too happy about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But eventually they got the Mona Lisa back, right?
They did. After a lot of back and forth, she went back to the Louvre, where she is today.
So what about Eduardo, the forger? Did he ever get caught?
That's the thing. Eduardo just vanished. No one knew what happened to him. For years, his role in the whole thing was a secret.
So he got away with it. The perfect crime.
It seems that way. He made a fortune and disappeared. But there's one more twist.
Another one.
Oh, yeah. After Perugia died, a journalist named Carl Decker came forward. He said he was Perugia's confidante.
Okay.
And he spilled the beans, told everyone about Eduardo, the forgeries, the whole plan.
So Perugia wasn't the mastermind after all. He was just a pawn.
It looks that way. And here's where things get really interesting. If Eduardo sold all those fake Mona Lisas and the real one was hidden...
You're not saying.
Well, it makes you wonder, what if the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, the one everyone sees, is actually a fake? What if it's one of Eduardo's forgeries?
No way. So we could have a missing masterpiece, a con man who got away with millions, a patriotic art thief who's actually a folk hero, and a fake Mona Lisa. This is too much.
It's a wild story, isn't it? Makes you question everything you thought you knew about art, about authenticity, about history. And we're not done yet. There's still more to unpack. We'll be back to delve deeper into this incredible story, the questions it raises about the art market, the nature of truth, and the stories we tell ourselves about the past. Stay tuned.
All right, so we're back, and my head is still spinning from all this Mona Lisa madness. I mean, a missing masterpiece, a con man who vanished with millions, a fake Mona Lisa. It's like something out of a movie.
It really is a remarkable story. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. Like, how many other famous paintings in museums could be fakes? And if a painting is so well done that even the experts can't tell, does it even matter who painted it?
That's a question that's been debated for centuries. What makes a work of art valuable? Is it the object itself, the artist, or the way it makes you feel? Does a perfect copy have less power than the original?
It's a good question.
Oh.
It makes you wonder if we're all just buying into a story, We believe what we're told about art and history, but what if it's all just smoke and mirrors?
There's definitely a lot of power in the story, the narrative, the theft, the mystery, the possibility of a fake. It all adds to the legend of the Mona Lisa.
And speaking of stories, what about the art market? The Mona Lisa is priceless, right? But what if there's more than one? What happens to the value then?
The art market is all about scarcity, one-of-a-kind pieces. If suddenly there are multiple real Mona Lisas, it would throw the whole system into chaos.
It's like the art world is built on trust. But this story just shatters that trust. It makes you wonder what other secrets are out there.
Absolutely. This case isn't just about a stolen painting, it's about questioning assumptions, looking beyond the surface and realizing that things are rarely as simple as they seem, especially in the art world.
It reminds us that truth can be slippery and we might be more gullible than we think.
And that sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones that blend fact and fiction.
So the Mona Lisa might have been stolen, recovered, maybe even copied, but the mystery, the intrigue, the way she looks at you, that never fades.
Exactly. The fascination endures.
Well, as we wrap up this wild ride through the curious case of the stolen Mona Lisa, we'll leave you with this. What do you think? Is the Mona Lisa in the Louvre the real one? Does it even matter? And what other secrets are still out there, waiting to be uncovered?